Greetings and salutations everyone, I'm Mac, this is Limbus Company, and we have new content. Not much of it, but it is there. They've introduced the book gag for Yield My Bones, or Yield My Flesh to Cleanse Our Bones. And I don't think we've ever had two events running side by side, or at least ones that dropped resources. But the important part to this is that there are two new identities, and I'd like to have a look at them. Can't pick up the banners though. So, Kurokumo Clan Wakashu Heathcliff. His skill 1 is Lenticular Rend. Gain coin power for every 6 bleed on the target, so it rolls 11. But at max it rolls a 15, which is ridiculous. 2 defense power up next turn, once per turn. That's probably a reference to the original Library of Ruin identity that he's pulling from. His skill 2 is Storm Cloud, 4 plus 6, so rolls a 16. But 1 coin power for every bleed on the target to a maximum of 2 means that's a plus 8 coin. So it rolls a 20. Great. On hit, inflict bleed. On heads hit, inflict slash fragility. Nice for a Kurokumo team. Inflict 2 bleed count and 1 attack power down twice per turn. Whereas the defense power up only comes once per turn. Huh. I guess they're worried about how strong he might be as a solo identity, because he does have a decent amount of defense level and offense level to come to with that. Then skill 3, Thundercleave. Coin power plus 1 for every 6 bleed on the target, maximum of 2. Gain Cumulus Wall next turn, gain defense power up next turn, and on Clash Wind gain Dark Cloud Blade next turn. Oh boy. So 5 plus 4, that's a 17. But throw in a plus 2 and that's 3 6s, so he rolls a 23 max on this. On hit, inflict bleed. Final coin deals more damage. On hit, inflict slash fragility. Final coin deals more damage. Deal 10% more damage for every type of negative effect on the target and inflict 6 bleed. 10 different negative effects does actually sound like quite the mess to try and inflict, but I don't know. He is at least throwing down bleed and slash fragility with extra coins, so at least you're going to have 20% damage bonus on his third coin. And then throw some extra bleed in there just because. Passive. An always active passive. When a Kurokumo ally dies, gain 1 slash power up for this encounter. When 3 or more are defeated, gain battle ready for this encounter. Okay, so we have unique skills, let's see what they are. Battle Ready. Bleed and count inflicted by this unit's skill or coins, plus 1. Gain 1 slash power up and 3 slash damage up for the duration of this encounter. Wow. Cumulus Wall. Defense skill, final power, plus 1. This effect expires at turn end or after using Rules of the Backstreets. So only one Rule of the Backstreets is going to have the bonus from this. Gain Dark Cloud Blade next turn. Gain slash power and inflict 1 bleed on hit with slash skills. So this is very true to his Library of Ruin version, but also much better balanced. Dark Cloud Blade 3 Lust Resonance. When there are 2 or more allied Kurokumo identities on the field, including this unit, gain Dark Cloud Blade. Okay. That stuff. Against enemies that, in this turn, use defense skills or max HP before attacking, deal more damage. Interesting. If an enemy attacked another ally with a skill and dealt damage this turn, use an unopposed attack against the attacker with skill 1, once per turn. If the enemy killed another ally, or said ally's HP is less than 25% after the enemy's attack, use unopposed attack against the attacker with Rules of the Backstreets instead, once per ally, twice per turn. The skill activated with this effect counts as an attack skill. Does that? I think that means it doesn't get the defensive power. It doesn't get a bonus for defensive power, or maybe it doesn't get penalized. Or maybe it's saying that you'll still trigger bleed because defensive counters actually don't trigger bleed. Anyway, as a support, one ally with the fastest speed against enemies that use defense skills or were at max HP before attacking, deal 10% more damage. Of course, now we have the real winner. Rules of the Backstreets. This was actually a draw tech in Library of Ruina. So you'd put it a lot in your deck, but it wouldn't actually be of much use on its own. It was basically to help you get to stronger skills faster, but it's clearly patterned after the mini-boss of this reception. If Kurokumo clan Captain Ishmael is on the field, activate the following. Convert all coins in this skill into unbreakable coins. Final power +4 to this skill upon clash lose. Deal 10% more damage for every type of negative effect on the target to a maximum of 100%. If this unit has Cumulus Wall, unconditionally activate all reused coins on this skill. Inflict 2 bleed. If this unit has Dark Cloud Blade, reuse this coin. If this unit has Battle Ready, reuse this coin. So that's an interesting way to integrate how it wasn't good on its own. Because it's not going to win clashes easily, even if it has a +4 to offense level. But when it wins, it is going to absolutely shred. Like 3 reuses of the coin. No, 2. So 1, 2, 3. That's a +15. Probably worth replacing Renticular Rend with anyway. Gain Dark Cloud Blade at 3 resonance. Wait, which one's battle ready? If this unit has battle ready... so you have to have dead allies before you get full power there. Oh well, and just to double check, Sanity. Increases after winning a clash. Increase by 10 after defeating an enemy who's higher or equal level. Increase by 5 after an ally defeats an enemy who is higher or equal level. If the level of a defeated ally is higher or equal, decrease, based on the level difference. Oh, and resistant / weak to blunt. Of course, they also threw Kurokumo clan Ishmael in here. I'm not going to extract, I'm going to be saving. But cleanup. Cleanup was another staple for the Kurokumo clan cards because it was a light restore, which helps you use stronger skills, which is nice. Coin power +1 for every bleed on the target. The difference is that this is a 2 coin skill. Cleanup only had 1. Cleanup only had 1 coin to it, although they were actually die then. But anyway, rolls an 11 +2, so that becomes 15 at maximum potential. Deal 10% more damage for every negative effect on the target. Inflict bleed, and offense level. Down. Skill 2, Sharpen Blade. It has been a while, but I'm pretty sure that this was actually a very dangerous skill because it would raise your slash power at the start of combat, which meant that every time you used Sharpen Blade, all your slash skills would gain 2 power. On top of, but because you could also use 2 sharpened blade or 3 sharpened blade if you felt like it. So you could get up to 6 slash power boost. Power boosts were absolutely insane in Library of Ruina. Anyway, 4 plus 6. So that's a 16. Plus 2 for every 6 bleed on the plus 1 for every 6 bleed on the target to a cap of 2. So that's 8 plus 8, 16, 20. Combat start. On 2 other allied Kurokumo identities with the fastest speed, apply 2 damage up once per turn. If there are 6 Kurokumo clan units, including this one, apply 4 damage up to 5 allies instead. So that's how they're integrating the system. And 4 damage up is quite insane to be handing out to 5 allies. At least it's not handing slash power up, then I'd call her flat out busted. On hit, inflict bleed, headset, inflicts slash fragility. Once per turn. Oh right, we gain up to 50% more damage for every negative effect on the target, so that slash fragility will actually count. If we have 6 Kurokumo clan units, including this one, inflict 2 fragile instead. I'm sure Kurokumo Ryoshu is very appreciative. On hit, inflict 2 bleed count, and gain slash power up next turn. 2 times per turn. So there's a little legacy nod for you. Skill 3, Ink Over. This, I want to say, was... It might have been the first... might have been the first 4-cost card, but I could be wrong. There could have been another one. But yeah, Ink Over. Coin power plus 1 for every 6 bleed on the target. To a maximum of 2. So 4, 4, 4, 12, 17. Alternatively, 6, 6, 6, 18, 23. On kill, gain slash power up next turn, once per turn. On hit, inflict 2 bleed count. On hit, inflict 3 bleed. Deal 10% more damage for every negative effect on the target, to a maximum of 100%. Activate bleed on the target 3 times, then reduce their bleed count by 3. So she's draining more bleed than you're actually sticking down. Bleed is kind of hard to hang on to outside of mirror dungeons. Passives. Battle Ready. Gain slash power up for this encounter when a Kurokumo ally dies. When 3 or more allies are defeated, gain Battle Ready for this encounter. 1 slash power up, 3 slash damage up. I could see this being handy for how crazy the distorted bamboo-hatted Kim can get. So, Gathering Dark Clouds. Combat start. If there are 2+ allied identities in this encounter, including this unit, gain Dark Cloud Blade. Gain slash power and inflict bleed on hit with slash skills. I wonder if that triggers before the bleed count, because if it does, then you just barely break even on bleed count from 0. Well, no, actually, because you still drain it. But it's not so bad. Combat start. Apply Dark Cloud to Kurokumo clan identities adjacent on the dashboard. At 4 Luster Resonance, apply 1 Dark Cloud to all other Kurokumo clan allies. Convert all of this unit's base attack skills. Use this turn to Unbreakable Coins. Prevent damage from staggering this unit and inflict 1 more of bleed effects. So basically it turns everyone into Bamboo-Hatted Kim's Yield My Flesh, I guess. On Clash Lose, gain 3 final power. I imagine this actually gets very crazy with Kurokumo Honglu. Inflict +1 more of bleed effects, yeah. And in support, Cloud Workshop Blade. 1 ally with the fastest speed inflicts 1 more bleed. Oh, yeah, and I guess there's also her defense. Scattering Slash, 4+10 evade. Combat start, gain 1 protection once per turn. Combat start, on 2+ highest resonance allied Kurokumo clan identities, including this unit with the fastest speed. 2+ highest resonance. Apply 2 defense power up. So using this skill, she's actually giving out 2 defense power up to herself if she's one of the faster identities. Granted, at 4 to 6, she's more going to be middle of the road. She's rarely going to be slowest, but she's also rarely going to be the fastest. My mind is thinking of how obnoxious it is to fight the Drifting Fox, and whether I could integrate one of these two into the group. Honestly, could almost say that it's worth using a full Kurokumo team for that reason, because they do gain bonuses for losing allies, but the thing is, you don't get the extra coins, you don't get the extra skill slots on death unless you're in a chain battle. And the thread luxcavations are one of the few things. Actually, luxcavations in general are one of the few things that aren't chain battles. Still working on collecting these. I should probably have been running some more mirror dungeons this week. There is a specific scene I'd like to get to hear the voicing for, but I don't know whether it'll actually be available. Or I don't think I'll be able to get to it in 12 minutes, but oh well. Heathcliff looked out the rattling bus window with a dour expression. Though it wasn't raining, the world outside was grey and opaque, like an overcast sky. Black pungent clouds of smoke had long devoured the atmosphere. So this is the kind of place Heathcliff used to roam.
아직도 잿빛으로 색이 바래는구려. 분명 S사에서 도망했던 정착지는 세피아 빛으로 칠해져 있던 것 같소만.
T사의 색을 수거하는 장치가 중심에 위치해 있으니까요. 영향권에서 멀면 이런 현상이 있을 수 있다고 보고된 적이 있습니다.
아, 그런 것이었는가? 하면
2 other sinners immediately jumped in on the conversation to direct it away from whichever obscure subject Yiseng and Force were about to steer it into.
아, 그러고 보니까
그거!
그 이상 씨가 살았던 곳 거기랑 여기가 좀 건물들이 달라 보인다 싶어서.
그래! 그 이야기 하려고 했지.
They're trying hard to keep them from giving a lecture, but that'll just lead into a different lecture. It's been a while since we started on this journey together. We're starting to grow more comfortable with the sinners. Maybe that's why I found Gregor and Rhodey's valiant effort to keep this conversation remotely comprehensible to most occupants of the bus pretty amusing.
그건 말이야.
And Yiseng unknowingly shooting down their effort by jumping onto another complicated discussion was another sight I'd become familiar with. While I was curious about the technology T-Core uses to drain our colour and about the behind the scenes of T-Core's operations, it wasn't something that could be answered now. I decided to table that discussion for later. Instead, I approached Heathcliff, who was sitting on his lonesome, clearly deep in thought. Still racking your head about what to wear to Wuthering Heights?
뭐? 그런 거 아니야.
Heathcliff protested, jumping up from his seat. Looks like I hit the nail right on the head.
아니, 생각을 안 한 건 아니긴 한데 그냥 옛날 생각나고 그런 게 더 커서.
I do remember hearing that Heathcliff used to live in the back streets. Part of some syndicate, if I recall correctly. Virgilius did say we were going through the back streets instead of going straight to the T-Core nest for a reason, and that it was because of the company's orders. Maybe there's something for us to do here? Heathcliff did spend some time in the T-Core back streets after all. Maybe we'll run into a golden bough here?
그럴 리가 있나요? 그게 뒷골목에 굴러다니는 썩은 나뭇가지 수준이었다면 저희가 이런 개고생을 하겠어요?
True, I guess.
애초에 그 여러 의미로 대단한 저택에 이런 뒷골목에 붙어있을 리 없잖아. 골목을 기어다니는 거렁뱅이 같은 사람들과 그들에게는 나를 초대했다는 건 이번 황금가지는 그 저택이 있는 둥지에 있을 게 뻔하겠지. 맞지?
맞습니다. 저희는 최종적으로는 T사 둥지로 향할 것입니다.
Heathcliff continued to speak in a low voice. The hubbub from outside the bus seemed to blend in with his words, turning into a mass of murmurs. There was some sort of commotion outside.
그리고 최종이든 시작이든 간에 뭘 해보려면 저기서 걸리적거리고 있는 놈들부터 집어치워야겠군.
반 정도 맞는 말이군.
Heathcliff, who was muttering to himself in an uncharacteristic daze, jolted awake.
아이씨, 예고 없이 뭘 하는 건 띠띠빵빵이나 너나 다르질 않냐 어떻게?
예고의 필요성을 느끼지는 않아서 말이지. 아무튼 바깥에 보이는 놈들은 다 계시다.
Targets?
제거 대상이라는 뜻인가?
그런 의미만 있지는 않지. 정확한 정보는 없었지만 아무튼 저 무리 속에서 접촉해야 할 대상이 있다더군. 그 녀석을 찾아서 정보를 얻어오면 된다. 관리자, 알아들었습니까?
How are we supposed to find this target if you're not even going to tell us who it is?
타겟을 특정할 방법이 없는지 묻는군요.
가면 알게 되겠지. 제게도 없는 정보를 물어봐야 소용이 없습니다. 단테. 그럼 전원 하차.
I was somewhat wary of the way Virgilius answered me, but even in murky situations like these, we've always managed to pull through anyway. I'm sure things will get a little clearer once we get there. I slowly disembarked the bus with the rest of the sinners. Unfortunately, I think we'd have to blitz our way through a couple of combat encounters to get what I want, but actually, right, I could just open it up.
여긴
거안.
아, 여기는 버스 아니에요? 아, 저희는
대도
The blade lineage woman sprang from her prone position, grabbing the sword next to her. She held the grip of her blade, ready to draw it at any moment.
니놈들은 누구냐? 흑우네?
아니라고.
그러니까 저희는
그런데 왜 그들이 쓰는 무기와 흡사한 것을?
말이 안 통하네. 그냥 죽일까?
Ryoshu!
두 가지 이유로 화가 난다. 하나는 대화를 주고받지 않아 쓸데없이 이야기를 길게 느리게 하는 것.
또 하나는 그 밥버러지들의 쓰레기 같은 날붙이와 나의 검을 동일 선상에 놓는가.
Yeah, I was interested in seeing what the VA for Ryoshu would have to say about this specific scene. Alright, so until next time, guys, take care. I'll see you all around.
이상 씨,
아, 이 장비 말씀이신가? 이번에 새로이 에고 추출을 진행한 결과요. 구 엘사의 기록에서도 찾을 수 없었던 환상체의 추출이라 제법 난도가 있었지만 보다시피 나쁘지 않은 성과를 냈소.